In the house today. It's going to be a very interesting day. I'm going to keep an eye on a handful of plays. I think one of the ones I'm most interested in is NVIDIA today. It's already moving. Matter of fact, let's go take a look at that chart. All right, I've got the 5-minute candles up right now, and it's pretty simple what we're going to be looking for initially this morning. I'm going to put the VWAP on the chart. Right now, we're beneath VWAP, getting a little selling pressure off of pre-morning, which, to be honest with you, I'm happy with, because if we then begin to move back above VWAP, it gives us a solid case for taking a long position. I have the 5 EMA on here. No, this is the 200 EMA. Let's go throw on the 9 actually this morning. So right off the bat, we get above the blue VWAP line. We get above pre-market. This is positioned to move. Heat map for this morning. Just refresh this. Yeah, it's pretty ugly heat map. I had to refresh it just to make sure it was accurate. We had a little bit of green about 40 minutes before market open, and NVIDIA's still green. I think once we get through the morning pullback, I think we will potentially see NVIDIA go bright green today, but that's just guesswork. We'll have to wait until we get there. Tesla in a little bit of decline. Let's go look at the Tesla chart. We have a SPY that is knocking on all-time highs. So my default is that we're going to get into this morning and the market is going to rally. I mean, it's possible we'd pull back, but we're pushing on some areas of resistance. Reset chart for you. I'm going to go through our usual process of setting up for the trade here in a few minutes. This morning we pressed through 573.35, which you guys have seen that on my charts for a long time. The fact that we're even back here is showing how bullish the market is. Let's throw the VWAP up here as well. So right now we're pressing on VWAP, but we've pushed all the way up to it. So we are very, very close to having a breakout rally. We're up against the very top of resistance, in a position to potentially make a new all-time high today. Market may go sideways, may go sideways. Waiting on those FOMC meeting notes brought us to a place where we're right at the breakout. And then if they like that data, we could find ourselves pushing up today. But we might find ourselves moving sideways this morning. All right, we're on VWAP. And I'm going to begin to lay out how I normally set up a chart here for our trading sessions. Turn off a few things. I'm going to mark pre-market, which is right here. That gives us our pre-market high and low. The last time we traded the SPY together, I made a comment at the beginning of the day that we could come all the way back to pre-market, and we did. We ended up moving our way. We tested the top of the range, and then we ended up moving all the way down to the bottom of the range, and then all the way back up the following day and went higher. So right there it tells you a little bit. If we don't break out above 573.50 today and really begin to pump, well, there's your day's range right there. And then we come in for a little bit of a closer view. So right now, the first 5-minute candle closed above VWAP. So that's actually kind of bullish. Now we're going to set up our morning market structure, but we don't know what it's going to be because we're going to give it 3 5-minute candles to form. And that's going to be called our morning market structure. And we're going to have these two areas of structure we're going to work against. Our morning market will be our closest structure, and then our pre-market will be our next closest structure. And if we get candles that confirm above morning market, above VWAP, and above pre-market, that's typically where we'll take a position, and that's a strong confirmation that we're going higher. And there we'll get into calls. If we get candles which confirm below VWAP, below pre-market, then that would be a confirmation that at bare minimum we'd go back and test, or below morning market, that would be a confirmation that we go back and test pre-market. So there, in a nutshell, is our game plan. So this candle is on VWAP, and just to go over some basics that we talk a lot about in our trading sessions, a candle that's breaking a trend line means nothing. Because this thing can suck back up over this VWAP. It's actually opened above VWAP. It can go right back up over VWAP and close green. And so even though this candle might appear like it's pointing down, until it closes, it's not valid. It could be bullish or bearish. This one, now we're doing something new, and this is something that we just made a new low, okay? And so if we're trading this momentum puts to the bottom, we could have taken a position there on the fact that we just made a new low. So now this is beginning to look more bearish. We have a candle that's gaining momentum, made a new low beneath VWAP. I would be a little surprised if this didn't close on VWAP, and it means the next 5-minute candle is going to tell us a lot about which direction this morning we're going to go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Deborah, Alex, Jeremy, Mr. Smith, Shaq, Ice, Michael Bootson, Temi, New Journey Danish, Lakes of the Shop. You are getting sound. I'm not getting sound. Everybody should be getting sound. Yep, we're broadcasting in stereo, Rodecaster Pro, full audio. All right. Sagan Or, good morning. Yasir Hussein, good morning. Broski. Raja, good morning. Let's see. Good morning, DMTZ. Christine, good morning. Ellen, good morning. Noah, good morning. All right. So as I said a moment ago, looking at that 5-minute chart, we're waiting on 3 5-minute charts to form, 3 5-minute candles to form to officially give us what we're going to call our morning market structure. And even though this last candle accelerated and was looked as if it might close under VWAP, at the moment it's fighting. The bulls and the bears are fighting over it. So that's why we want to give these first 3 5-minute candles a little bit of time to form. I'm going to start looking at some options just so we can start talking about them, because I don't want anybody to be panicky. We're going to run over to let me go check on NVIDIA real quick. Oh yeah, NVIDIA's cooking to the downside. Actually, I like that. I mean, I wanted to see some pullback, and so that's all right in my view. So we're going to do something similar here with NVIDIA, and we're going to look for the trade the market gives us. For me, this is not guesswork. For me, this is, I've got a trade strategy. I work it, and we're doing the same thing on this here. We are right here. Okay, so NVIDIA is showing us something different. We don't have morning market structure formed, but we've already broken through pre-market, and that's we're going to be watching to see if that can recover back above pre-market. We're significantly beneath VWAP. Our heat map has gotten uglier. We lost our one glimmer of green on NVIDIA, but we're going to still give this a little bit of time because it's very early in the morning, and we've simply had a nice run up pre-market anyways. Let's see, Tesla's still down. All right, SPY. Boy, you turn your back on this chart for 1 minute and it jumps up on you. Okay. Let's go look at some SPY options. All right, I'm going to look at today's. We're going to look at calls and puts. I'm going to look at today's call. Right now, I'm looking at the 574 call that's at 95 cents. And we're going to do market orders. And I'm getting into these guys. I'm taking a small initial position here. But I would slow down because this has jumped up quite a bit. So I think we're going to come back a little bit. I was able to catch these, but give this a little bit of time. Now, what we're looking for, we have had a push above our morning. No. Okay, so we're going to change things up a bit. This is kind of unusual that we are so much higher. But we haven't formed our morning market yet. We're going to form it on the close of this candle. And it reversed so quickly that we changed our, let me just give me a minute. So we haven't closed our morning market yet, but if I'd been watching it, I probably would have had us enter right as we crossed back above VWAP here, but can't turn your back on this charts for a second. We went to look at NVIDIA and this took off on us. All right, we are not in a big position. I did add a single one to track, but that's just so that it would be easier for me to pop it up. We're getting some chop. We have not closed our third candle yet. As soon as we close that candle, then that's going to give us our morning market structure, and that's largely what we're going to be trading. So at the moment, we are just vacillating. We just vacillated up and down. The bulls and the bears are just fighting this out big time. And what I see here is a megaphone pattern forming on the morning. Okay, megaphone patterns typically suggest that market doesn't know what the direction should be. When you're making a higher high and a lower low, that's exactly what this pattern is. It's a megaphone pattern, and the market's searching for direction at the moment. When you have a price that's broken higher and a price that's broken lower, it really tells you that you don't know which direction this market's going at. Normally, a lower low or a higher high, even if we were to retract from it, would be a signal that the market was going to continue in the direction it just gave us. All right, so we've got our third candle getting ready to form. And really, it's just bringing us right back to VWAP. As soon as this can, and if this candle closes as a higher green candle above VWAP, I would say that is bullish leaning. And so at the moment, and if this candle closes green, even though it has a very tall wick at the top, I would suggest that we might be in an uptrend. But the candle hasn't closed yet, so we're going to give it a little bit of time. Tesla bouncing now. Yep, that's a nice little bounce. NVIDIA not doing as much as I would have thought. We need Tesla to bounce. Okay, so we officially created our morning market structure right there. So I tightened up these yellow lines here to create, this is what I'm referring to as morning market structure. This is what I'll be referring to as pre-market structure. Now we are inside morning market structure, and the way that the trade confirmation that we're looking for is for the first candle that opens and closes above or beneath morning market structure will give us our confirmation of which direction we're going to enter calls or puts. There is a momentum trade, which would be a breakout move if one of these candles closed above pre-market and we had a continuation. That would be a momentum trade. It's cooled off from what it was possibly setting up for that a moment ago. Right now, we are going to be watching for the first candle to cross our morning market. So right now, we've got a candle crossing over our morning market. And then we're going to look for the next candle to open and close above our morning market. That would be our confirmation to go long. Now, at the moment, we have some bullish leaning charts here. Okay, so what do we have so far? We have the fact that we're above VWAP. That's our first bullish setup. The next thing that we want to see is we want to get above morning market, which would be right up here. And then the third confirmation of a bull move that's going to last all morning is to get above pre-market. So those are the three confirmations we're looking at. So we've got a candle right now that's crossing, and we're seeing a fair amount of volatility this morning. We don't have our direction set. I want to be very clear about that. Even though we're slightly bullish leaning, it's this candle that has to close on top of our structure, which is right here. And then we need to see a candle open and close above it. So right now we haven't done either. So we're just taking our time with this. My options, you don't have to choose the same options that I'm choosing, but I'm doing ones that are expiring today. And I would say that this is one of the reasons why we're patient and we trade a setup, is because until it confirms, it would largely be guesswork. This candle looks pretty darn good, but it's only our cross candle, which means that we can end up getting a wick just like we got on this one. Now, if this closes both above our morning market and our pre-market, and the next candle opens, then it's probably off to the races, but that hasn't happened yet. Keep an eye on NVIDIA. NVIDIA coming back a little bit. 1, 2, 3. So here's our pre-market structure on NVIDIA. Right now we're on the inside of pre-market, and so we haven't broken, even though we've come off of the morning highs. We have yet to really pick a direction on the day for this. Let's keep an eye on the SPY. And we'll keep an eye on Tesla. Tesla's slightly pulling up. MicroStrategies. Let me jump in on a different time frame here. MicroStrategies came back to an area, bounced. You can see that this is where I set stop loss. Price bounced slightly above this zone. This is where, if it did break beneath 185, that's where I would consider putting some puts. All right, so now we've got a bullish scenario going. Let's go through it. VWAP, we're above VWAP. We are above pre-market. Now we're just waiting for this candle to close. Now, what'll often happen, So there's two paths this can take. We can get a really fast pickup in momentum, which pushes us above pre-market, and at that point, we're just going to buy some market calls. But the other thing that we watch for is, let's say this candle open and closes above VWAP. Then at that point, it's very, very common after it looks as if momentum's going higher that we'll get one more test of VWAP where it will come down, touch it, and recover back to where it was in a very short, maybe 1 to 3 minute window. That's often the time to snag a good entry if you don't get a great entry, or to scale your position. Right now, we are waiting for this candle here to close above our morning market structure. We're slowly building. If that happens, we'll have our pretty much our largest confirmation of entry for the morning to the upside. And if for some reason this price collapses through this, because remember, we're waiting for this to open and close above morning market. If it simply doesn't do that and chooses right before, it's a 5-minute candle, and at the 4-minute time it chooses to break through back under, it means that any setup that we're hoping to see to the upside is off the table, and we switch to puts. You got stopped out of the 3K challenge on Tesla. I would say no, Shariza. It hasn't shown strength from the moment we took that position. It is possible that we could run up, but we took a position. If we go to Tesla, we were trading this inverse head and shoulders. We did get a partial move up, but now we've ended up essentially coming back below our low. So I would say that as much as this idea was worth taking, so we took the position right here, so it made sense to take some risk. We got a little bit of a pull up, but unfortunately we stopped short of getting to where we needed to get. So I would say at the moment, we have to just, even though there could be opportunity here, it's very easy. Sometimes you get shook out of a trade. In my view, taking the risk right here made sense. We did get a pop, but it didn't continue. And so I would say we need to hold off on jumping back in to those Tesla options. And at this point, I'd reconsider it if we got above 246. But at the moment, I would say we have to lean towards caution. Let's keep an eye on SPY. All right, so SPY, now this is where we're getting interesting, because not only are we getting ready to confirm, we're getting ready to potentially, we haven't done anything yet, but this candle is yet to close. But if this candle closes, then the next push up is above pre-market structure. That's our next buy signal, and we'll have all three. I will say though that at the moment, this is fighting with this all-time high area of 573, and what you want to see is momentum pick up. And right now I'm seeing that the market is selling against this area. So, it's very important that we see momentum absolutely rage forward. Otherwise, if we're just going to spend some time moving slowly in this area, my interest begins to drop. Okay, we're picking up a little bit. Haven't closed this candle yet. Still waiting on that candle to close. Okay, so that candle closed, which means we do have our confirmation of a move up. However, we have a little bit of a concern because in my mind we've got a low momentum. So I would, and before I call a buy for this, we're gonna consider looking for a back test of VWAP as a potential entry, because we're just not seeing a lot of hot momentum to the upside. So if we come back and hit morning market or VWAP and we get a nice little bounce, then I'm going to call that a buy entry, okay? The Tesla play is you got to put a stop loss in on that, Michael. Every order I give has got a stop loss. VIX is dropping. That's good, Robin. We are at the moment having what I'd refer to as a slow melt up. We're looking at the SPY 574 calls at the moment. They're trading at around 90 cents. Let's go look. Tesla not quite moving. Nvidia slowly climbing. Doesn't have nothing that I'm seeing in the market. Market looking pretty hesitant. It's a pretty hesitant market. We could see something that I would say I don't enjoy trading, which is a melt up. It's where the there's really no momentum going to either side. Sorry, we're getting this back test. If we stay above morning market, then we're still in a bullish direction. So this is our morning market structure right here. We're looking at the 5-minute time frame. I agree. The market is waiting on the 10 a.m. numbers. So we've got about 2 minutes before that comes out. And there's no way of us guessing what the market's going to do, because if the market likes those numbers, obviously we could blast off. If the market doesn't like them, we'll just capitulate. If we shoot above this high, then we want to be in calls, period. If we break through VWAP, I'll still wait for maybe a 3-minute candle to close. We'll wait for a back test of VWAP, and then we'll enter puts on the morning. Right now, there's obviously a default to the upside, but everything is sort of pulled back except for the SPY, and it's waiting on some numbers. Michael's saying he likes the 1 hour. Good morning, Michael. Nice to have you here. Let's go look at the 1 hour chart. I agree. The 1 hour chart looks good. Truth be told, this is, not looking bad at the moment. This is the, 1 hour MACD is pointing up, and you want to take calls when the MACD is pointing up. But if that data comes out bad, then this is just going to flush down, and we're going to begin to get some red bars. So we got to keep a very, very tight watch on this and just respond to it. At the moment, this is all, kind of a bullish it's all bullishly confirmed at the moment. We're now getting a candle that's open and closed above pre-market. So these are all buy signals. So we just got to be prepared to go. Yeah, I would say that now we're going long. Let's give it a minute. We'll let one candle close here, because again, the upwards momentum is slow, but we are melting up. Can we trade this in shares? You could trade TQQQ. Good morning, Harry. Appreciate you. You know, we've got quite a few family members that are in the path of this Hurricane Milton. It's been kind of slowly coming into me since yesterday. All right, now we're getting a little bit of this candle. That's why I said we want to wait a good candle, see what happens. Just going to watch this candle closely because our morning's going to depend on it. This is pretty slow moving at the moment. Good morning, Wayner. Good morning, Leo. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Harry. All right, this is our pre-market here. Maybe I'll change this color today. I don't normally do that. Make it orange. So we're just looking for buyers who are excited about buying this market. We technically have all the confirmation we need. We're above VWAP. We're above morning market. We're above pre-market. Everything here is confirming bullish. The only thing that's not giving me a hot bullish take is volume. This thing should be like way up here by now. And so it causes me some concern. We could have a slow melt up, right? We could just move really slowly here. That's, doesn't typically do well for the price of options. So I'm not going to call a huge buy alert here at this point, even though we've done this setup for months now in the Discord on Wednesdays and Fridays, and I would be all about this as a buy at the moment. But without any volume to the upside, it's very hard to get excited. If we slowly melt up, I mean, that'll be interesting. But even then, I'd be a little bit worried about. Here we go. A little bit of. At the moment, we are slowly melting up. Otherwise, I'd scale this position. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Shariza. Good morning, Clifford. All right, now we're seeing some action. All right, I'm in. Increased my position. Live trading is on Wednesdays and Fridays and the VIP level. Okay, now the next breakout area that we're looking for is just this previous candle high. If we get above that, I think we'll even see. I'm surprised we're not seeing more upside momentum. It just seems like we have a cautious market. But if we get above that, I think we would see a nice squeeze here. Well, we just touched it and got a little rejected at that. So we got to be careful about any type of double top. We talked about this potential test of VWAP. And that's where you could consider increasing your position size. In general, this thing is slowly melting up. And so I'm leaning towards, just assuming that our affirmed setup is working. But I wouldn't be shocked to scale on a back test of VWAP. So we get this flash down to VWAP and this recovery candle that makes a new high. I think we would then see a bigger move up. That's what kind of we're waiting on. I will scale my position when that happens. The only scenario that would cause us to cut the position is if we ended up crossing over and closing below VWAP. Then it would just mean that the market, just didn't want to go up right now, even though we've got the confirmation. It is honoring the outer VWAP line, which is this green line right here. It's honoring it. And, you want to stay in a call position while that's happening. Good morning, Desert D. Good morning, Osvalda. Good morning, Mike. Volume weighted average price, VWAP, VWAP, volume weighted average price. Now, VWAP consists of two calculations. It's your volume and your price. And the reason why VWAP is used, it's an intraday, not you can use anchored VWAP on daily and weekly timeframes, but the reason why I'm up 6% on my play, my original position 8%. Now we're starting to see some nice movement here. Be nice to get a little breakout. Yeah, now we're finally seeing that volume candle. Excellent. Okay. All right, beautiful. If you're in with me earlier, depending on what time you got in and what you bought, I'm up $100. So we got a 20% move here going. It's a nice little candle we got going on there. That was that volume move that we were looking for all morning long. Nice shack. Let's check NVIDIA real quick. I hate to turn my back on this SPY. Now, we got a little gain going on here. I do believe that we will come back and flash test VWAP. And so I want you guys to be aware of that. It's very, very often that happens. We get this one last flash test of VWAP. Now, the market might go up a little bit and then come back a little bit later and flash test it. So at the moment, we've got a lot of confirmation for an upside move. Let me see here. Market, kind of like what you see it doing right now. Doesn't mean that we're turning bearish. The only way that the market would turn bearish is if we cross beneath VWAP. There's another scenario that we'd watch for sort of an early, if we were to get like an early breakdown, it would be for a candle to open and close beneath this green structure. So if this candle does not turn back green, then this could be a candle that's basically giving us an early warning signal. We're still dealing with solid confirmation for an up move at the moment. Yeah, it's looking good to me. We got all of our confirmations in place. 1, 2, 3, and now we're breaking out. So A little choppy, but if we get above this outer line, like it looks like we are right now, we should really take off. Um, but in general, the market, it kind of did we got our confirmations. Now it's melting up. Um, and so I think, you just hold strong. As far as stop losses go, people ask me that all the time. There's a lot I probably could teach a whole class, like we're talking like 5 segment class on stop losses, because it has everything to do with your strategy. If you're scalping, we're scalping right now. And so the strategy here is to ride the momentum wave up. And if that breaks at any moment, to get out. We're here to make money on a push up only. We're not speculating the direction of the day. We're speculating the direction of the next 15 minutes. And so, for instance, each of these candles is made a new high, except for this one right here. Okay, so each of them made a new high. We can accept a red candle in the mix, but if we get a second red candle, that's when the trend could be reversing and we want to jump out. So a second red candle could be on a 5-minute time frame, because we're trading the 5-minute time frame. A second red candle could be an indication, and a second red candle that makes a new low could be a reversal confirmation, and that would be be a good signal to get out of a momentum trade to the upside. At the moment, we don't have 2 red candles this morning yet. We had one here, but the rest have been green. We're trending up. We have our confirmations. As far as take profit goes, I mean, you could take profit, with whatever you felt comfortable taking profit with. Whatever else you're wanting to trade. What is your profit goal for the day? I mean, the VIP live trading sessions, it's $100 a month. You can break that up into $25 a week. You can break that up into $12.50 for Wednesday, $12.50 for Friday. If we make $100 during these live sessions, then the session costs $12 and you've profited. You could lock in $100 and on one session, and you always have to take into consideration that you can face loss. We're going to lose. And so, as long as each session you clear $12.50, well, then you're getting great education and you're getting to trade with someone rather than trade by yourself. And you're learning more about the charting each and every time. So I guess it's all perspective. Wana out 24%. I think that's great. I'm glad you took profit. I don't know what your position size was, but if you bought 5 or 6 of them, that should be $100. But four or 5 of those, you just made your $100. Yep, VIP's got full access to everything in the Discord. And personally, I agree with Chaz. To me, I would, if I were back in the day and needed to get some help and could trade alongside a community, I know I would consider the price of admission of $12 a session well worth the opportunity of trading with somebody. But guys, I mean, I'm mentioning it because that's my perspective on it. But I want to give as much value as I can to each and every level. Personally, the golden child here is Michael. Man, this dude's just pouring into people. I got you're not supposed to have favorites, but Michael's one of my favorite people in the Discord. I like Preet too. But we got a lot of people here who pour into a lot of other people. Yeah, so this is not a high volume morning. There's been no breakaways, but this is definitely what I called at the beginning, sort of a melt up. We're still above the outer VWAP, each candle's making a new high. We haven't had a red candle yet. Each of them seem to be, these tall wicks. Normally when you get tall wicks like that, it can turn ugly on you. But so far, these have just been a bunch of fake out wicks, trying to scare people, shake them out. But we're still making new highs. So I had increased my position. I locked some in. I'm holding just a couple runners. Um, we're still getting a series of green candles here. Remember that we were anticipating a test of VWAP, and if we bounce off this VWAP, if we hit this and bounce off it and we get a nice wick, I'm going to go back in. I'll scale it back up to, 10, 20, because it, like I said, we're just trending higher. Just got a market that's trending higher. Clifford, I appreciate Clifford too. He's pretty cool. Appreciate you, Liliando, if I'm not saying that correctly. Yeah, it's we've had. I mean, it's incredible. I feel very blessed. I got on to Larry's show. I thought my initial shows were horrible. Nervous. No plan. Larry was just putting me on the spot. He's like, "Come over to the studio," and go over to the studio and he just turned the camera on, and I never did that before. I never spoke to anybody, nor did I like share live technicals. So all of it was like a really new experience for me, and people watched, which was fun. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Parker. Yeah, so we'll watch this candle here because it's we're getting another red candle. Okay. But if this candle ends up closing above this outer green VWAP, we're going to assume we're still in a bullish trend. But what we need to watch for is, little rollover, which could be expected, and a back test of VWAP. If we bounce, that's a really good confirmation of scaling and adding to our position. We're going to get that test here. And that's where, if you missed it or you didn't get in, that'd be a great spot to consider adding to your position. The video will be available to watch later. It'll be in the live stream channel. I will not take it down. I hope that I've packed it with some good education for you guys. This is a very unexciting morning in the sense that we got our education, we got our confirmations in. Okay. First candle, it was first candle of the day, opened and closed above VWAP. Second candle, opened and closed above VWAP. That's a great confirmation. We established our morning market structure right here, the middle yellow bars, and we pressed through. So pressing through is not the confirmation to buy. So this is not the confirmation to buy. Confirmation to buy was actually this candle that opened and closed above VWAP. So that was our confirmation to buy on the morning. I just want to go through and really review this with you. This candle was our confirmation to buy on the morning. In addition to that, this particular candle happened to also be the candle that closed or pressed through pre-market, right? That was our pre-market high. And then this was the candle that gave us a third confirmation, which was it opened and closed above pre-market. All of these three setups have kind of pointed to the market going higher. Now, the way that and yet I would say that this hasn't been an extremely exciting trade because it's been slowly melting up, no breakaway moves. And, the best moves are huge, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% move up in options. You snap your profit and you're done in 10 minutes. So far, we're slowly melting up. The way that we would trade this, I wouldn't enter into puts. I would really need to see us get down here. So we'd have to get right there for me to enter into puts. Sometimes when you see me put in my market alerts, you'll say puts under a certain price. Well, there you go. Puts under 573, it looks like this morning. So if we collapse and we go under 573, then that would be, and we back test it. So we basically come down, we back test 573, we open and close a candle, then it's puts for the rest of the morning. But at the moment, even that last red candle didn't turn red on us. We're just melting up, and we're not even getting much of an opportunity to scale because we're not really getting any back test of VWAP. I expect that we could still get a back test of this 573, and that's when you would consider scaling. If I would let at least a 3-minute candle close, we're pushing higher. Let's go check Tesla. Ooh, Tesla does got a nice little pump going there. All right, so people that are interested in Tesla, this is our pre-market here. Getting back to pre-market high is really somewhat range bound at the moment. It's a nice little move. Forgive me, I got the hiccups. But it's not going to excite me until we get above. If we get above this 245.80, then that would give us this move potentially back up here to 250. And so that's where you're going to see, but this is a good sign. We're above. This is the 1-hour chart. Let's go back to a different time frame on this. Yep. Yeah, so we want to see it get above this 245.80. But it's looking good. It's looking good. John McClain, kind of sort of expected on the opening of the Fed Day minutes. Not entirely sure what you mean. I would agree. It is, Brian, and it's just slowly melting up. I mean, this is kind of what I saw it happening early in the morning. This idea that I thought we're not going to get a breakaway momentum trade, but we're probably going to get like this slow melt up, no back test until it gets away from everybody. We're just making a new high here. I'd love to hear some of your guys' profits. If you took a handful of these when I alerted them at 92 cents, you should have made your $100. If you've been scaling, you should be higher than that. Let's go look at NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA, we're right above VWAP. Okay, so technically we've got two 5-minute candles confirming on NVIDIA. And now we just back tested NVIDIA. We aren't above morning market structure. So this would be our first buy signal here. We would have one buy signal. This would be 2, and this would be 3. So I would say that, we could take a little chance on NVIDIA. Let's go look at it. Do we rally until we get the FOMC meeting notes? All right. So, I keep, the options pretty simple. As long as there's a good bid ask scenario, I will just simply take the next out of the money option that expires today, which for NVIDIA, it's the option is, let me see what I got here. I got a small little gain going on NVIDIA. I got 134 call expiring today, expiration 10/11. So that's expiring in 2 days. I apologize. And just the next expiration, got 5.43% on that. Current price 195 and climbing. Looks like we will get back to 217. Just seems like it wants to get back to market open, which is our number 2 level on NVIDIA. If we were trading this, just to put this in perspective, confirmation, I like to get at minimum the confirmation of a candle above morning market. That's my primary confirmation. I absolutely will get in on two other scenarios. I'll take a starter position on confirmation above VWAP, especially if we've dipped beneath it and come back above. So I'll take that. That's what we just did on NVIDIA. Up 7.61% on that now position. But I'm really looking to scale and be, to know this position's going well when I get the number 2 confirmation above morning market. And normally when you get above pre-market, that's when things really begin to blast off. That's when the market likes it. So these are still early positions. And really right around this is where you're looking for a God candle profit taking scenario. I mean, that's how I view it, but we're creeping up. Everything is slowly creeping back up. SPY creeping up, just like we talked about, melting up this morning. Don't have a single red candle yet, just pushing higher. I'm still holding some SPY runners. Appreciate you, John McLean, for showing up this morning. Every morning's going to be a little different based on what's happening. This has been a little bit, it's a good morning. We're making good money, but it's a slow, like this is a melt up morning. But at least it's holding, it's holding structure. I would say the markets are showing strength, man. Mo Buka, cool. There's a nice indicator that I found. It's a free indicator. Let me see if I've got it on this chart. Let's see here. Nope, it's not on this chart. Let me see if it's on SPY. Here we go. MTF supply and demand order blocks. This, for those, we got a nice little blast off going there. So my NVIDIA options right now are up 10.33%. My original SPY options doing better, where I'm at 30% on that. Upside target for SPY right there. That's at 574.91. That's the previous supply gap. So it would, and the way that this particular free indicator works, MTF supply and demand order blocks, is basically they'll tell you to buy it right when it hits the middle of, or sell. Like in this case, it might be sell right when it hits the middle. So we're looking at like a 575 sell target there, and that's on the 5-minute time frame. Of course, it's going to change. One of the other things going into this morning that caused me some bullishness on the market was we have been consolidating above 570 for the last week, and that builds a fair amount of support, and I thought, yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for these markets. It's going to take a catalyst event like escalation of war for the markets to cut through all this support. It seems like the path of least resistance today is to the upside. TSLL up 10%. Let me see. Yeah. Nice. Those are up 9% this morning. Doll is very interesting to me. I think Doll has been doing really well. Let's Disney, of course, I warned about. I mean, how's Disney stock going to be screaming forward, with a massive hurricane? We also have this ascending, potentially bearish ascending parallel channel. I do feel like it could be setting up for a buy opportunity, but we got to watch it very carefully. Let's look at this. All right. So I know we'll go look at Doll. We'll go look at Doll here in a minute, but this is what I want you guys who are really learning to understand. Every indicator on a chart has got a bull territory and a bear territory. Right now, we know that this ascending channel is a bearish channel. Ascending channels break to the downside. So now we are in the bear side of a bearish chart pattern. So we're in the bear side of a bearish chart pattern. So there's no way conceptually that we get bullish on Disney unless we were to get back above $94. So right now, this is pointing to a very clear path back to 89. I mentioned that in my yesterday's video. So I mean, this is a shorting opportunity. Now, I wouldn't assume that this is going to break down further. I would wait for that to happen, which means we'd have to break beneath 89, backtest 89, get rejected, make a new low, and that would tell me that Disney wants to go lower. Personally, I made the comment in my video the other day that Disney might find a higher low at 89 because it is trending. It's been trending up for quite a while, and we have a major hurricane. And if that doesn't cause it to break down, I really see us bouncing off this 89 and potentially that being an area to go long. If we bounce off 89 and get back up, get it back above the middle of this channel, and this, I think that's let me see what moving average that is. That's the 200-day. Yeah. So back above the 200-day, back above the middle of this channel, back above 96. That's a strong confirmation of going long on Disney. So at the moment, I'm seeing bounce off 89, confirmed bullish, maybe crossover 96, back test 96, and bounce. I think the trend for Disney would be long-term going into 2025. It might be back towards all-time highs. So it's funny, you'd think I'd be more bearish on Disney in this environment, but when you look at the last couple months, I see a series of higher lows. That's what I see. And I see if Disney gets through this, bad news environment, I see a surge in the parks later this year after hurricane season is over, and I see better earnings. So this 89, one more tap of 89 might be your last call to jump on the Disney bus for a while to the upside. Our SPY is doing what we expected it to do. NVIDIA is getting close to backtesting morning structure. It's not moving very quickly. I'm still up on my options. I'm not, if we stay above this 133.75, that's good. You can see that this was a previous area where it broke above, and we're kind of like, let's see if we can backtest this area and bounce and continue to melt up on NVIDIA. Tesla. Well, we talked about it. If I'd been watching this, I would have jumped in to some more call options right here. We talked about it breaking over 245. It broke over 245, back tested it. Tesla maybe to 251. I would just, put your stop loss right underneath 246. TSM. Let me see here. Where is Oh, there we go. So let's look at TSM and the MACD. Let's do some MACD school. So, I mean, understanding the sort of the forward offense court and the back defense court, 200, this is the 200, I think it's the EMA. And if you're above the 200 EMA, you're in a bullish trend. So we're going to call this a bullish trend. You're above the zero line on the MACD. We're looking at the daily time frame. It's in the control of the bulls. Now we're pushing up against a pretty significant area of resistance. Here, this whole area was resistance. It was resistance again here. This 185 is, pretty significant area. At the moment, we're slightly underneath it at 184.68. But I would suggest that this is an area, that this is, looking like it could really move to the upside. Let me see if I can put that order blocks indicator on here. We can use this one too. So yeah, you can see that Price Action Concepts shows this 191, pretty strong resistance. I would say if we close today above 185, it just seems to me that it has a destiny to get to 192 and test it. I mean, again, what I see here is I see this on a lot of charts. We saw it first on the SPY. I'm starting to see it more on other charts. But if we get back to this 191, what do we have? We've got a triangle pattern. And what is the confirmation of what is the, if we break above, so we get above this 193, we get above 193 and we back test it. You take the opening of the triangle, which is right roughly here, you add that to the top, and that gives you the expected move. And you're looking at the potential on TSM of 280. So, wait, that's not right. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a, sometimes I'll say that ascending channels are 60 to 80% normally bearish. Descending channels are 60 to 80% normally bullish. Ascending triangles are considered always bullish. So this is a pattern. It's always bullish. Whenever you see this type of pattern, it's always bullish. Now we could mess around here at the tip of the triangle a little bit, but the main thing is this: you get a weekly candle to open and close above 194, then you really begin to look at this as the reality of being hitting 280. That's what the market's telling you. Long term. SPY melting up just like we expected. Who's in NVIDIA with me? We got a little bit of a pullback coming. Back test. I'm going to actually add. We'll give it a few minutes. Let's see if we get a nice little bounce here. Clean up our chart. VWAP getting tested on NVIDIA. Right now we're pushing through on it. So just to recap, there are 3 stages of a confirmation and scaling. 1, VWAP. We got that confirmation right here. That gave us this nice little move up. Second confirmation to scale, though, would have been this. Let me pull this out a little bit. Second confirmation to scale would be a move above morning market. We haven't got that yet, so we're in a non-scaled position. Third confirmation, I'll change this. Third confirmation would be a move above pre-market. Right now, we're bouncing on VWAP. Certain things I'm going to be looking for is that we don't break the previous low bounce. So the low on this one is, the low on that is 133.12. The low on this one is 133.17. So if the price doesn't cross below 133.12, then this is a decent spot to be scaling. So we want this candle to close, and we really want to see it come back up to the top. That will be, the next green candle would be a good confirmation. Let's see what the SPY's doing. SPY's just cooking along. Tesla slowing down, but it's in a good spot. We want to see NVIDIA take off today. But you know, we don't have a bias. I mean, sure, I'd love to see NVIDIA pick up, but you know, if we break beneath the VWAP, then that little position, you got to let it go. So if price crosses beneath 133.12, right now this candle's at 133.17, so it's not broken the previous candle. So at the moment it's holding VWAP. Let's give it a few minutes to see what happens, because this is either an area where we need to scale or cut. I wouldn't enter SPY at the moment. You know, I mean, it's going to have a midday pullback. So, I mean, you know, this is pretty nice little pump we got going here. But now you can't enter at this. I mean, I don't know. You could enter and have a very tight stop loss, so that, you know, if you get a break of your previous candle, you know, I'd say right here, if you get a break right there in price, you exit. So, you know, as long as you're not going to enter and just die hard hold this thing, that would be a huge mistake. But if you're going to have discipline and cut it, if you get a second red candle to make a new low, if that happens, then you just cut it. If you want to jump in, as long as you have those disciplines, sure, you could just sort of, you know, try to take the melt up all the way to this range here. Nice, decent. VWAP still holding on NVIDIA. I did get a call on NVIDIA, and I'm waiting right now to decide if we hold this 133.17. If we hold that price, I'm going to scale. So I'm watching it carefully. Right now, I'm neutral to NVIDIA. All right, all right, I'm going to let that NVIDIA option go that I had. It just is breaking down, unfortunately. So we had a decent little profit going there of 10% on that one earlier, but I wasn't watching it carefully enough. Did you take the NVIDIA, Raydale? Nice little gain there, Michael. So, like we were saying, SPY's doing fine. I mean, this is the first red candle we've got, but I think, Michael, you know, you made a decent profit today on this play, so it makes sense to have sold it, or at least to lock in profit. I mean, you can, you know, everyone's got their own goal, daily profit goal per trade. And, you know, this is one trade. So if he's able to pull out 1,300, it makes sense. You know, I mean, that's a good daily accomplishment, especially if you're using a trade setup and you're controlling your potential for loss. I wanted to take a minute, but this just as a side note, nothing's wrong with this chart right now. NVIDIA breaking down, man. Now, as far as confirmation, we don't have confirmation yet. We just have what I'd refer to as a momentum break. So the momentum break was this break beneath 133.12. That really shouldn't have happened if the trend is up. Now, this is we crossed VWAP here, okay? Now, if this candle opens and closes beneath VWAP, then that becomes your first confirmation of puts. If we then get another candle to open and close beneath pre-market, which is the orange bar, that would be your second confirmation of puts. Right now, we don't have the first yet. The cross is not the confirmation of puts. The cross is just sort of your warning signal that the trend may be reversing. The confirmation, the first confirmation for puts would be this candle opening and closing beneath VWAP. So we have to watch that. And if that candle closed green, it would be a confirmation to go short, but I would wait and see that the next candle made a new low. I don't know, but somehow it didn't close below VWAP in my 5-minute chart. Well, I don't know what to tell you on that. On my 5-minute chart, we are beneath VWAP. Let's check out the SPY. SPY doing fine, still cooking to the upside. We do have our potential first, second red candle, but that's not that big of a deal, especially when we've moved up as much as we have, because we're away right now from the first green VWAP. I mean, you're going to come and have some moments where you come back to it. So at the moment, I would only be concerned about the SPY trade if we opened and closed a candle beneath this outer band. That would signal that we might come back and test VWAP. And then if we bounced off VWAP, that would be another scaling opportunity for the SPY today. I wouldn't get ahead of those trades. I'd let those trades confirm, because if we came back and we got a good 15, if we bounced off VWAP and got a good 15-minute candle here, then I would trust it more to move back up to 575. Later in the morning, and the guys who've been with me longer in these live sessions, PanW, we should go check it out. Later in the morning, I shift from using 5-minute candle to 15-minute candle. 5-minute can give us the good breakout in the morning, but then later in the day, you want to shift to a little bit of a longer time frame to confirm your positions, because things get a little bit choppier later in the day. And so if we want to wait till we have a higher confirmation. Let's go look at PanW real quick. That is a nice move. So this break of structure at 345, I've got marked on my chart, as well as the fact that it has a very obvious, let's see what we got here for a minute. So if you asked me, that's probably our bullish descending channel. Break above 345 was the middle of the channel. That was a buy call. And it wouldn't shock me if our day's goal is a minimum of this 369 right here. Watch for rejection there. If you're in it, then I would say that, obviously you're coming up against a resistance zone. But it wouldn't shock me. PanW's really doing well right now. It wouldn't shock me if we got something like this. PanW's pointing higher. Give me a minute, guys. We also need to just be aware always that something could be a double top, like you could end up getting here and making a double top. I mean, I actually don't see that, but it's possible. I think PanW, if I had been watching this one, had it set for an alert, I would have got in on this candle bare minimum. Now I'm feeling it's a little bit close. Like we have this other area of resistance that it's at right here. So we could see, we could see some red coming down. This one might be one to go to the MACD and the VWAP and begin to look at. So we might see a little pullback or chop in this area. But as far as a target goes, this is definitely going to hit the top of this ascending channel between 369 and 374. I don't see how we won't hit those numbers. All right, so technically, NVIDIA has given us a confirmation candle beneath VWAP, which would be a confirmation to go short. I didn't go short on this because what I did though is I did close my small call position. I was waiting to scale it. This is another great example of why I do what I do. Entered on the break of this VWAP, right? Could have took 10% profit right here. Could have, if I'd been watching it, I would have closed out probably 5-6% profit right there. This would have been my sell because it would have been the broke of the previous candle. And that's something I keep mentioning. As long as we don't break the low of the first red candle, we're fine. In this case, we broke the low of the first red candle. So that was the sign to get out and lock in whatever profits remain. Unfortunately, I was watching another chart. I don't normally do that. I'll stick to really 1 to 2 trades, especially if I'm trading momentum. But we didn't scale this because we didn't get confirmation above morning market. And that's why we do what we do. We can take an early risk position on confirmation above VWAP, scale at confirmation above morning market, and then scale again at confirmation above pre-market. So far, this is actually confirming to the downside at the moment. And you know, if I wanted to focus on this, but you guys, I want to remind you guys, I am flying out this morning. And I think on that note, I might wrap this up. Let's take one last look at the SPY. SPY is doing well. Let me go look at my runners. SPY runners up 43% right now. So there's should be no way that you guys didn't make some money this morning. Let me go look. Demetrius is convinced that my VWAP is off. Let's see here. Huh. If I did it off of open, it would have confirmed bearish even sooner. So nope, I don't think it's off, but what did you sell, Ludwig? SPY's going to hit the target I gave, guys, at the morning right here. We're heading up here. You know, as we said this morning, 1 red candle, not 2, 1 red candle, not 2. And I said it this morning, classic melt up. This traded perfectly. I mean, honestly, I couldn't have asked for, I would have loved more of a quick momentum move because we can get that 40-50% in the first 10 minutes of the morning, but we got it later in the day. But it confirmed every step that we would take to make a risk position confirmed. Let me take a few more minutes and go back to just some previous setups here, okay? Because I want people to understand how this works. If we take yesterday and we go and do the exact same thing, okay? Right here, this candle was your confirmation candle to get in. And it also, this was both the confirmation candle to get in. Let me see here, wait. Yeah, this was not only your confirmation candle to get in on both morning market and pre-market. So we had morning market, pre-market, and VWAP were all confirmed between these 2 candles. That gave us this big push up. I guarantee you that if you had traded that, you would have gotten a minimum of 20 to 30%. And so, you know, the trade setup that I showed you today worked yesterday. And then if you take this and you look at it, we got a second opportunity, which is a bounce when it comes all the way back. It went sideways for the afternoon, right? It broke down. It came back and tested pre-market, got very close to it, got back above VWAP. Right here was confirmation to scale going into close. I guarantee you could got another 40, 50% off of this. And so I'm taking the time just to show you that the setup I'm teaching in our morning, it's not just as simple as I gave it to you. There's a lot more that goes into it. You begin to look at candle patterns. You look at some other factors like candle to make a new high, candle to make a new low. That's a momentum factor. But if you use this setup consistently on days that it doesn't work, you have to have controlled loss. So let's say it was a fake out here and it didn't work and it broke down right here. Okay. Well, then you have to have an amount that you're willing to lose every day. Let's call it $100 for a small account, maybe $1,000 for a big account. But let's just say it's $100 for a small account. Let's say it didn't work. Okay. Well, then on Monday, today's on Tuesday, you lose $100. But if today you come in and you take that risk position and you follow it just the way we did, you're going to make $100, $200, $300, depending on how big your position size is. And if you trade this consistently, now if you're not there's a lot of people that trade a lot of different things, they make a lot of different money. But if you're trying to get consistent on Wall Street, this is a perfect setup to help you, as long as you have a controlled risk that you're taking every day, which means you don't allow yourself to lose more than X, more than $100. And I can tell you that you then have to make at least $200 on your winning days. So you can accept $100, but you've got to have at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So if you use this trade setup every single day, then your winning days have to be a minimum of a $200 target win. And if you're consistent, you're going to find that you're going to win this more often than not, that it works more often than not, and that you're going to get better and better at it more often than not. I'm still holding my runners. We're still melting up, man. This was a melt up kind of a day. I do think our target, we could come, very likely going to hit this supply zone. We can get a little shy of hitting it. I might take profit a little early, because what'll happen is other people are looking at this as well. I'm not the only one looking at this, and there's people that want to get in. They want to maybe take profit before everybody else, and so I might take profit before everybody else. But we're definitely melting up. I at some point, not going to take any put position on this market, because we get above 5.7, we get above this level, we're going to all-time highs. And don't forget what I've been saying in my video for days now, which is that we have this extremely bullish pattern that already has confirmed. Okay, so we're not talking about this pattern. I've been talking about this for days now. This pattern's already confirmed. This was the confirmation of this pattern. This pattern's already confirmed that the markets would go to 620. Now, this could turn out to be a a bull trap. How would we know if this is a bull trap? One way and one way only. The break of our ascending line. Okay, and we're getting closer and closer to it. Let me delete some of these lines. Let's clean up the chart time. You guys enjoying this show? I feel like I'm just rambling. Okay. Just want to make the point that the SPY, we already confirmed this move. So this move here, that's been confirmed. All of these candles on the daily time frame and the weekly time frame confirmed it. Now, you can get false confirmations. So you need to know what would cancel the potential target of 620. The only thing that would cancel the target of 620 would be the break of the ascending line. It's the break of this line. So we're getting closer and closer to it, right? We might continue to move sideways. We might pop up today. We might back test it. As long as we don't break this ascending line, we've already confirmed the move to 620. We already have. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Kobe. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Junior. Thank you, Desert. Shaq made 283. It makes me super happy, Shaq. Nice play. Back above VWAP. I knew NVIDIA going to do us. It's going to do me wrong. NVIDIA. It did seem strange to me that NVIDIA wanted to break down when the rest of the market wanted to go higher. You know, but you gotta trade the chart in front of you, you know? So, I mean, I'm going to just treat this as a reset. So if I wanted to get back into this, it's going to be the first candle that breaks above VWAP. The next candle has to close, open and close above VWAP. That'll be confirmation by 1. Same scenario. We don't get to confirmation by 2 until we get above pre-market, above morning market. We don't scale until we get above pre-market. So if I get a confirmation, if we get a candle that opens and closes above VWAP, then I will put my other 2 little positions in. Okay, the SPY on my runners is now 105% up. I'm going to take profit. You say, why are you taking profit? I love to sell 105% profit. Let me quickly take a minute to do that. I would have been happier if I did some scaling. I mean, I probably would have done more scaling, but this is more of a teaching time. Give me a minute. Okay, I just locked in a 106% profit on our morning trade. So I am going to say goodbye here in just a minute. Appreciate all of you guys. I'm heading out to Chicago. I'm going to be on a plane in 2 hours. I have done light packing so far, but I'm going to be traveling for 35 days. I've got a huge trip ahead of me. And so I've got to pack and move some things around because here in Hawaii, I've got some close friends. I'm going to be gone for 35 days, and I have given my vehicle and my condo to a handful of friends. So I've got people coming in like a hotel here. Week 1, week 2, week 3. But I figure if I'm not here and I'm paying for it all, somebody should enjoy it. But I'm going to be connected, be doing the live tradings every Wednesday and Friday, no matter where I'm at. I really enjoyed opening this up to the bigger community, and we'll do that again. Had a beautiful 100% win on my runners here. And, you know, if we stayed on all day, we'd make some more money together. But I'm going to make a short video today, probably have less videos going into this month that I'm traveling, but I will not have less time in the Discord. I'm going to stay connected to the community because that's a top priority for me. I just want to thank you guys all for joining me today. I thought it was a good time. Thank you, Jesse, Kevin, Leo, Loliando. Appreciate you guys. Peace and blessings. Take care.